I'm gonna sell our house.
Yikes. Yikes. Nope. Nope.
Like when,
Jeez.
like when Jasmine was like,
Did you hit your head on the casket when you were pulling the pen back from her? Yikes, dude.
he was still alive when he shot?
A little bit of hair coming out. A little bit of hair coming out.
Yikes. Wow. What a day.
Yeah, that really turned the corner.
Woof. Never saw it
He's
coming.
capitalizing on that opportunity.
Like that.
Yikes.
Is somebody
My daughter's
even
graduation
funnier?
party yesterday, and in the middle of it, Grandma was like, I think we need to get into a ranch. And I was like, really? My daughter's other side grandma. And I was
It's
like,
fancy you say that. Just rich grandma? No. Rich aunt. Not grandma.
No, me is the rich aunt, and she. Well, ask JJ, he was there yesterday. Like, that was a bit over the top for a graduation party.
The balloon walls?
Like, 3 of them.
3 balloon walls?
2 balloon walls and one, like, they literally made a thing out of like wood and had like lights on it.
Well, you only get one sweet 16, my friend. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand.
she really swung for the fence on
It looked good
Yeah.
though.
Full open bar.
Really? Open bar for the non-20.
In the back.
Happy Hollow. Happy day.
Swung for the fence on it. The best part was that I walked in and I was like,
You're like, oh, good job.
everybody's walking up
You
to
didn't
me
have to do
going,
anything.
man, you really went all out. I was like, I got nothing to do with it.
Like, I have just as much to do with it as you.
I was a credit. I was like, I didn't write a single check. That lady over there did. You go talk to her.
Tell her, yeah, give her flowers. Yep. Give her flowers. That's fantastic.
All right. See y'all later.
You taking Drake or Kendrick before you leave? Are you taking Drake or Kendrick for the weekend?
I haven't actually.
I don't know what you
followed up
mean.
to find out what's going on with that.
Jesus.
I was awake for it live.
Unfortunate.
Back to back, and then oh man, what an exciting time to be alive.
You know what I mean? See what you missed?
I'm so excited.
You're
You're gonna have to catch me up. It's like I saw a whole bunch of shit on it, but I don't have enough context. I had a busy weekend.
Okay.
Someone obviously wasn't awake at 1 in the morning when they were going to bed.
Shame on you.
I was not paying attention to rappers.
Oh,
Missed out.
Well, do we call Drake a rapper?
We do after this weekend. We better.
Really?
We better.
Come on now, this is.
We better.
can't be a rap battle.
You know what I'm saying? Can't be a rap battle with poets. You know, it just doesn't work. Math just doesn't work.
So excited that like I'm moving through World War III. As funny as that sounds, like it's not good, but
That's you know what?
makes you say that.
Take that.
Yeah, there's something. Just like Kendrick and Drake, Metro, and yeah, I heard there's. He made some drums. He did it. He did.
He made some what? Some drums. He did make some drums. He called him out.
Like a diss Drake on your own thing.
Yeah, so you can participate.
You too can diss
This
Drake.
is phase 5.
Did you mute that? Because it was having a weird sound a second ago.
It's in my ear.
Oh, so is it still having a weird sound? Are you doing like the DJ thing right now with the headphones?
Where you can hear just the.
Unintentionally because
Wow.
the computer died and
Slick talk here.
you can't turn your phone all the way down.
You cannot. You'd have to disconnect.
Have to disconnect one.
Interesting. So does it echo like you can hear out of that, or are you muted? That was
No,
weird.
I'm hearing you double right now.
You are hearing me double. So if anybody else joined, they would hear double as well.
No, this is muted. My phone is muted. It's set up.
So you personally are hearing me double because you're hearing me here and then in there. Got it. I thought you meant it was echoing in your.
You're getting stuck.
So basically, what I should say to you at this point is, you're welcome.
What I should say is you're welcome. Okay, I just heard it for the second time.
It's a great catch. Yeah. Shout out to Moana. Moana.
That's tough. Big kids guy over there doesn't seem like it.
Big kids.
Definitely not. Don't have any of those. Guys, good morning. Happy Monday. Glad you guys are all here. Shout out to Dreamscape Homes in the house today. Reppin'. Hardly home. Always.
Sorry.
Chose the contractor side.
I appreciate that you were talking about a hole and not like just making sure it wasn't like, a long Sunday in the yard or something.
Yeah.
That makes me so much happier. Okay, good. Guys, any wins going on? Anything good going on from this weekend? He's raised his hand real high. Or is that just a real scratch? Deep scratch. You just got long arms.
Yeah.
You just had to get back there. Tell us about this.
Had a whole crew of people that ran the Lincoln half,
Love it. One
And-
half marathon.
like 1.5 marathon, and 2 of them, it was 24-hour sign up, and they just were like, "Yep, we're gonna get after it," and they did, and it was great. And then this morning had I re-hit my old PR on the bench, and that felt really good. So
Love that. So after a half marathon, got an old PR on bench. Love it. What is it? I know you want a chance to flex. Here it is. What is it?
250
250 pounds.
came back.
Proud of you. That's right.
It might be, but
It's everything your muscles had left in them right there, huh?
that was it. So, and it was pretty reasonable. Went up like at a good pace, so I feel like I could do more.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay. Love it.
but it felt good. So yeah.
Love that. Love that. Anybody else think about running a half marathon this year? Anybody else got one on the plans? Thinking about it? All right. Still time. Still time. He's going to be really paying attention this month, and he's going to learn some of these sales skills. He might talk one of you guys into it. Who knows? Because once you get the second person, you've got momentum. People will jump on that train right with you.
We had like seven people deep. We had a lot,
That's about how it starts. That's how it starts.
and they showed up. So
That's what I'm saying. That's how it starts. And then you got momentum. Because next one will be 14. One after that will be 27.
it'll
So
be easy.
who knows?
I agree.
And then you'll be putting on the Jeremiah sponsored half marathon. So
It'll happen.
yeah, you guys will run the entire town of Gretna. It'll be really exciting. It'll be cool. The entire town.
The king in his castle.
The king in his castle. I love it. Love it. Any other wins? Wins from this weekend? Love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in true Monday fashion, I want to invite you to just pull out your goals, put those things in front of you where you can see them, touch them, feel them. Remind yourself of exactly why you bother. Getting out of bed, getting up, pursuing these goals, pursuing these dreams, trying to build in this world. Just remind yourself of exactly where you want to end up after all that effort is said and done. And as you're reminding yourself of your goals here, I want to share with you guys a story. It was a cool story that I got to reread from one of my favorite books. Has anybody ever read the book, It Takes What It Takes? Takes What It Takes, okay? Really, really good book by a guy by the name of Trevor Moawad. Very famous in the sports psychology world. And It Takes What It Takes. Pretty self-explanatory title. But he tells a really cool story in this book that I think is worth sharing in this room. So he tells a story about a guy who, this kid who was kind of like failing out of school, and he kind of got in trouble a lot and found himself not in a good place when it came to school, on the verge of getting kicked out. And they made everybody take this test they call the SAT. Anybody ever take the SAT in here? I know we're ACT people here in the Midwest, but SAT. Okay, so SAT, it's 2 parts, 800 points on each part, math and English skills. Okay, 800 points each part, and it combines for a total of 1,600 possible points. So the smart people get really high on that scale, and the not so smart people get pretty low on that scale. So he goes and takes the test because everybody makes you. You have to do it when you're in high school because it's, to see if you're going to get into college and all this kind of stuff. They make you take it, and he takes his test, and he ends up getting like a 1490, like almost a perfect score. So he gets a 1490, unbelievable. And this is a kid who's on the verge of getting kicked out of school, not doing well in school, like doing really, really bad. So he gets this test, he shows his mom, and the first question his mom asks is, "Did you cheat?" And he says, "Well, I tried to cheat, but like the way the numbers were set up, like everybody had a different test. Like I really tried to cheat, but I couldn't. Like I just took this test. This is what I got." So his mom's like, "Wow, so you're smart." And he says, "Well, if I'm smart, I guess I should start going to class." So the rest of the year, he starts going to class. he starts doing well in class. Then the next year he signs up for honors classes and starts doing well in honors classes, ends up going to community college, ends up doing well, and becomes a very, very well-known magazine entrepreneur. Does very, very well in life, right? 12 years later, guys, right after his 31st birthday, he gets a letter from Princeton, New Jersey, doesn't open it. His wife ends up opening it, and she hands it to him. She says, "Hey, you should probably read this." And he opens a envelope, he opens a letter, and the letter says basically that the SAT review board reviews their practices and reviews all their results periodically throughout life. And he was one of 13 people who got the wrong test scores that year.
Right.
Yeah. So instead of the 1490, they said he actually got a 748.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's way below half. He was probably in one of the bottom percentage of his school. And yet, because he believed he was that smart kid and believed he was on the right track, he went on to do amazing and wonderful things. And when he went and told his mom, he said, my life changed when I got that 1490. Or his mom said, "Your life changed when you got that 1490. He says, "Well, my life didn't really change when I got the 1490. My life changed when I believed I was smart." And that was the lesson that I want you guys to take away from that story, which was like the ultimate lesson that I'm going to be talking a lot about this week is that your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. And the second his inner world said, "I'm a smart person," his outer world reflected the results of a smart person, of a high achiever, of somebody who could do great things. Okay. And I want, as you guys are sitting there looking at your goals and we're getting ready to do a little activity, I want you to consider that your outer world, the results in your world, are a direct reflection of your inner world right now. So if things are thriving, if things are abundant, if there are a lot of things going in your life, it's because there are a lot of things going and a lot of things growing and a lot of things stemming from inside of you. Okay, so right now, as you're looking at your goals and we're thinking about how to proactively move towards those goals, I want to invite you to do a couple of actions that will help your inner world that will then affect your outer world. So I want to ask you to make two commitments this week, two things that you undeniably, you promise yourself you will do, two things that will drive a higher vision in your inner world so that those results can show up in your outer world. But two things that you can do to your inner world that will move you in the direction of these goals that are in front of you, of this vision that you have for your life. What two things specifically can you do this week that will drive your inner world, that will drive your confidence, that will drive your enthusiasm, that will drive your energy, you will drive what you believe is possible for yourself? Two things that you will do this week. And if one of those things is go tell that story to your spouse, and great, it's a great story. But what two things specifically will you do this week in order to move yourself closer to those goals, closer to that vision, closer to an inner world that will display an outer result for you? And ladies and gentlemen, once you've got two things written down, I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes because you give you about 60 more seconds to think through that and write down two things that you will do, two actions that you will do this week that will move you in the direction of an inner world that will produce the outer results that you're looking for. And when you got two things written down, I would love for you to find somebody close to you, find somebody online, find somebody on your phone, whoever it is that can help hold you accountable to following through on doing these two things that will help yield results for you and your life. I want you to take some time and share what are those things with somebody in the room. All right. So find that person. You got about 5 minutes and I'll call you back. We'll go through the lessons for this week. All right, let's do it. Mute myself. I can do that.
One of those like saying
Somebody raised their hand. My question is, how do you know? So I want to invite you to do a little activity with me. We're going to just do this really quick. How do you know who the number one agent in Omaha is? You can just write it down. If there's a one-word answer, it's a one-word answer. That's totally fine. But how do you know? Who is the number one agent in Omaha? How would you know who is the number one agent in Omaha? Yeah, what would you use to know for sure? How would you know?
I guess how we all rank it are statistics of sales, right? But not as a client.
I'm going to ask you to write it down. I don't know. I think you might hear different opinions. But how would you know? Who's the number one agent in Omaha? How would you know who the number one agent in Omaha is? Okay, out of curiosity, does anybody have anything written down? What'd you write down? What'd you write down?
I wrote down sales volume for residential homes.
Sales volume. Love it. Okay, what else?
Mine was basically the same, but we're generalized from stats.
Stats. Love it. We don't know which stats, but there's some stats that will tell us. Somebody will tell us. Yes. What else? Reviews. Look at that. Another great measure. Absolutely. Anything else?
Notoriety and
Notoriety and influence. How would you measure that?
just due to, I guess, the ads like marketing and also just how many random people at your downtown ask, hey, do you know who this person is? And would they know?
Love it. We survey 50 people. How many people know you? I like it. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I want to redefine that for you because your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. Let me first give you a couple examples of this exact thing. So let's think about, here's how Tony Robbins describes it. He said, somebody who's a smoker, right? They say, I'm a smoker, right? That's my inner world. I am a smoker, right? I'm going to try to stop smoking. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to give it up. But like, you know, I am a smoker. I've been a smoker for 20 years and I am a smoker, but I'm going to try to give it up. He says he knows your days are numbered because inside of you, that's who you are. That's who you're going to be. Somebody who defines himself as an athlete, right? If you define yourself as an athlete, there's always a certain amount of muscle tone, a certain amount of fitness that you have in your body that at all times, you know, you can look in the mirror and say, I'm still an athlete. I'm still how I define myself on the inside. So how does this person who's number one in Omaha or the number one agent in Omaha, how do you think that person would identify themselves? And I want to give you a new definition, a definition that's based on the core values that we have here at Meraki, which is the number one agent is not the number one agent based on the number of transactions that they do, but they would be number one based on what? The number of relationships that they have. Not referrals, not transactions, but the number of relationships. And I'm going to break relationships down even one step further back, which is the number of people you talk to every day, right? Because that's where relationships come from. That's what relationships are. Relationships are not an act. What does Aristotle say? Success is not an act. It's what you do consistently. It's what you repeatedly do. So the number one agent is not the person who is done the most transactions once or knows the most people once. It is the person who repeatedly does the action of building relationships more than anyone else. So the reality of the number one agent in Omaha is the number one agent in Omaha changes every single day based on whoever built the most relationships that day. And the reality is, over a course of a long time, the person who built the most relationships over a long period of time somehow ends up getting all the rest of these things that we talked about, don't they? The person who has the most relationships, the most people who know them, that would use them, that trust them, would probably end up being the person who has the best stats, or the most sales volume, or the most reviews, or the most et cetera, and on and on. Yes? Very simply, this is the reason why we put relationships over transactions. So your job is not to do the most transactions. Your job on a daily basis is to build the most relationships. So ladies and gentlemen, this week we're going to talk about sales skills or sales habits around how you become the number one agent in Omaha on a daily basis. How you become the number one agent in Omaha by building relationships, and how those relationships, your ability to build relationships, will then create an outer world in which there are an abundance of transactions. Do you guys see how this is going to work? I promise you, you're gonna love this. Okay, so we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna talk about 5 rules today. 5 rules. These are your sales rules. These are your sales rules that will help you become a tremendously impactful salesperson. Okay? And rule number 1 is he or she who builds the most relationships wins. The most relationships wins at the end of the day. Because that is a person who can connect with other people. That is a person who can connect people with people that they need. That is a person who can solve problems. That is a person who is available for those in need and those who know people in need. Okay, the person with the most relationships wins. All right. That's sales rule number 1. Sales rule number 2 is that nothing is as it seems. Okay, how many of you guys have had this experience? You walked into a store and they said, "Hi, can I help you find anything today?" And then what do we all say?
Just looking.
Nope, I'm just looking. Nope. And then somehow 7 minutes later, you walk up to the cash register with stuff. Yes? Were you just looking or were you actually there to buy stuff? You were definitely there to buy stuff. And yet, for some reason, we always give this reflex answer of, "No, I don't want your help." Because we know that that is the quickest way to get people to leave us alone. Okay, nothing is as it seems because people, they will tell you that they're just looking or they're not interested or they don't want to talk to you. And yet somehow lots of these people list homes. Lots of these people end up buying homes later. Lots of these people know other people who end up buying homes. And yet if we take everything as literal, we will miss dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of opportunities to help these people along the way. Okay, so nothing is as it seems. People will tell you all kinds of things in a phone call, in a DM. And the way to find the truth about what is really going on in people's situation, the way to really build relationships. Has anybody ever had a significant other ever once in your life? Ever had a significant other? Yeah, you're going to understand rule number 3, which is a face-to-face changes everything. And this is the same for family relationships, for intimate relationships, for business relationships, is that a face-to-face changes everything. It makes your relationship with the other person more impactful, more memorable. It allows you to understand them more, for you to be understood as well. It is the investment that you make in the relationship to show up to a person's birthday, to their funeral, to invite them to drinks and to dinner, to show up to family dinner and family reunions and family gatherings. But a face-to-face changes everything. This is where you get to know people. You get to find out more about their story that they would never tell you. You get to find out that all the times that they say, "Yeah, I'm doing good," over text message, you get to find out that they've been doing horribly and they really could use some help or a friend. Okay, a face-to-face changes everything. That's rule number 3. And rule number 4, going back to what Aristotle said, is that consistency is king. I want to get this quote so I don't get it wrong again. Okay. Aristotle says it just like this. We are what we repeatedly do. Again, we are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. Okay, so if success is king, your ability to build relationships is absolutely paramount to your ability to become the number 1 agent. And consistency is king, which means every day you must build relationships. This doesn't mean that you build so many relationships one day that you never have to build another relationship again. That means your life is building relationships from now on until the end of time. If you want to be a successful salesperson, successful real estate agent, your job is build relationships every day. Invest in relationships every day. Further relationships that you've already started every single day. And your job is to just keep that consistency all the time, building relationships. Even when you're tired, build relationships. When you don't feel like it, build relationships. When you don't know what to do, what should you do? Build relationships. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, consistency is king. That's rule number 4. Okay, and rule number 5. This is a sales habit. So never again will you fall for this. But rule number 5 is do not fall for the mirage of hope. You guys know what the mirage of hope is?
No, sir.
It's like a verbal tip.
The mirage of hope is, that's when somebody says, you know what? I really want to work with you, but I just need to talk to my wife first. Let me get back to you. Hey, you know what? We do kind of want to sell. Let me give you a call back when we're ready in a couple of months. This is the mirage of hope. This is one of the ways that people know they're better at sales than you. They tell you what you want to hear so that you will do what they want you to do, which is go away. Okay, you will never fall for the mirage of hope again, because the mirage of hope only happens to people who are chasing transactions. When somebody gives you their number at an open house, they say, yeah, we're really interested in this house. And you call them and call them. You can't figure out why they're not answering the phone. Okay, the mirage of hope. The mirage of hope, again, you fall for this when you're chasing transactions and not relationships. You're not actually trying to help people, when you're not actually trying to get to know people, when you're not actually trying to understand people. You fall for the mirage of hope, which is your clients telling you anything that you want to hear in order to get you to go away, to leave them alone, or to say, you know what, we'll get together. Let me talk to my wife first and then I'll call you back. And then do they ever call you back? Anybody ever got a call back from somebody after they talked to their husband or wife or their brother or their mom? All of the above. Usually moms too. Yeah, I gotta call my mom first. I'm just kidding. I wasn't pointing at you, JJ. I was pointing at Alex this time. Yes, we're not falling for the mirage of hope. Okay, 5 simple rules, 5 simple habits, 5 things that we're going to work on this week. We have a couple of activities that will help us get really, really clear on identifying when these things are happening in our lives and knowing exactly what to do to make sure that we're on the right side of all of these rules as we go through. Okay, these are the 5 sales rules that we're going to be talking through this week in order to make sure that you guys are set up for success and that you guys are on the right habits to be highly, highly successful, and that by the end of this, if you could really implement everything that we talk about, or at least some of the things that we talk about, you'll be on your way to being the #1 real estate agent, the #1 salesperson that you know, and the #1 agent in Omaha. All right. As we wrap up today, I just want to remind you, it is Money Monday. Guys, so many opportunities show up just by making sure you do what we just talked about, being consistent, by talking to the person, investing in the relationship a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th time. And on that 3rd, 4th, or 5th time, can you get a face-to-face? Can you find out that nothing was as it seems and that people will tell you completely different things to your face than they would ever tell you over a message or over the phone or through the words of someone else, right? My husband said, or my wife said, why don't we get husband and wife in the room and let's just talk about it? Okay, so I just really want to remind you, make sure you nail your follow-up today. Request those face-to-face opportunities when they present themselves, and make sure you are investing in building relationships, because the person who has the most relationships was the #1 agent that day. And you put together a lot of days in a row of you becoming the #1 agent. Before you know it, you will be undeniable the #1 agent. All right, thank you guys for being here. We got a little orientation. Mason's very first day as a Meraki agent today. Guys, shout out to Mason. Welcome to the crew. Very excited for that today. But thank you guys for being here. We'll catch up with you guys later. See you.